Yesterday, Frontier announced a delay for Elite Dangerous Odyssey. Later the same day, CD Projekt Red co-founder and joint CEO Marcin Iwiński released a video explaining just what went wrong with the development of Cyberpunk 2077. Why am I connecting these two separate pieces of news? Well, let's take a look. So, Elite Dangerous Odyssey has been delayed. It's a relatively short delay on PC, ranging somewhere between 1 and 2 months. Frontier have specifically told the financial market that the PC version will be releasing before the 31st of May. For consoles, however, it's more of a significant delay, with the date being moved all the way back to the autumn. Now, Frontier have clarified that they use the meteorological calendar for seasons, so this places the console release of Odyssey somewhere between September and November. And basically, that means a delay for consoles is going to be around about 6 months. Now, Frontier have put the blame for all of this squarely on COVID-19 and the challenges of working from home. Now, fully understand that many of these are no doubt going to be significant. It's not an easy thing to overcome. Right now, on screen, you can see a timeline of how this has affected things here in the UK in recent months, and for many people it has been quite a significant problem. So, without a doubt, this definitely would have had an impact on the game's development. In short, this would mean that the game just isn't at the development stage that Frontier would like it to be at this particular moment in time. However, that doesn't mean that there's not also some other issues going on. What if indeed there are some other problems that Odyssey is facing? Could it perhaps be that there are actually some development issues going on? This then is where I'm going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. In yesterday's video, co-founder Marcin Iwiński specifically said that older generation consoles had been a very difficult challenge. Getting Cyberpunk to work on the older hardware wasn't at all easy, and took significantly more work and time than they had expected. In short, the hardware just isn't as capable as CD Projekt Red had hoped. Now, apparently, one of the reasons they had so much trouble is because they developed Cyberpunk 2077 primarily to run on and look great on PC, and then worked backwards from there to essentially build a downgraded version for the older consoles. Generally speaking, this is the opposite approach to many games, where they primarily focus on the consoles and then maybe add a few upgrade elements for high-end PCs. It's worth pointing out that weeks and even months before the release of Cyberpunk 2077, there were rumours and then supposed leaks claiming that Cyberpunk just simply wouldn't run well on consoles. CD Projekt Red ignored these rumours and then eventually outright denied them. Is it little wonder then that so many people lost faith in CD Projekt Red and felt that what CDPR do and what they say are two entirely different things? Yesterday's video from the company accepted responsibility for the problems along with issuing an apology, and discussed what they will be doing to fix the situation. But really, for me, the main takeaway point is that developing Cyberpunk for both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox were a particular problem. So then, what if the same is true for Odyssey? Could Frontier be experiencing similar development difficulties? In my personal opinion, this would explain a 6-month console delay far more than the challenges of working from home explain such a lengthy delay. Now, further, and this will depend on where you read about it, but it just might not be an unprecedented situation for Elite. The PlayStation 4 version of the game released in June of 2017. Just 8 months earlier, whilst the PlayStation 4 version of Elite would have been in active development, the live version of the game received a massive downgrade in planetary graphics. The downgrade occurred in October of 2016 with the release of patch 2.2, The Guardians. In the initial release of Horizons, the planets had a huge amount of variety in colour, texture and terrain. With patch 2.2, this took a massive hit. The variation and quality became significantly reduced, and many of the planets actually turned beige. The variety had simply been removed, and yes, it became known as the Beige Plague. Whilst Frontier were very slow to acknowledge this issue, they finally discussed it in February of 2017, 4 months after the change had occurred. They stated that the graphical downgrade was an unintended effect of changes they had made to the planetary surface material system. In short then, it was an improvement that didn't fully go to plan. Whilst this was certainly an acceptable and understandable answer, The fact remained that many people felt the real reason for the change that it had been made was to ensure the game runs smoothly on the PlayStation 4, which of course, as I said, was in development. The planets were eventually fixed in 2018 with a massive overhaul as a part of the Beyond update. So does any of this actually mean anything? Well, yes and no. No, because really it's just pure speculation. However, yes, because half a year delay on a console version caused purely by the challenges of working from home really doesn't make complete sense, especially when the PC version has only been delayed by a fraction of that. Personally, I would be willing to bet that the situation with Odyssey isn't too far different to the situation with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077. The consoles are perhaps providing an additional significant challenge. It's something that CD Projekt Red didn't want to admit and even openly denied. Eventually though, they did admit to the truth of it. To be honest, if Odyssey was facing a technical challenge such as this, it would be absolutely nothing to be ashamed of or anything to be embarrassed about. I'd also argue that it's something that is completely fine to admit to. Now, whether or not my speculation on this is accurate, and please do remember it is speculation, the takeaway point for me from the recent CD Projekt Red video is that as a developer, CDPR really should have staggered the release of Cyberpunk 2077. Sure, the PC version had bugs and plenty of them, but it wasn't the same complete broken mess as the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 versions. Just maybe if CDPR had released the PC version in December and the console version some months later, things would have gone far smoother. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.